United in their white shirts and white shorts, playing from left to right as we look. Chelsea in their royal blue shirts and shorts and white socks. Michael Oliver is the referee. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. In a few moments we'll be joined by the World Service. It's the usual goal service on a Saturday afternoon. We'll certainly keep you in touch with all of the games in the Premier League, notably the leaders Arsenal, who will need to respond after Manchester City closed the gap after their 2-0 victory against Newcastle United. And in the two early kickoffs in the Championship, Blackburn Rovers extended their winning run to beat Sheffield United by 1-0. Cardiff City beat Bristol City 2-0 to end Bristol City's 9-match unbeaten run. And it finished Morecambe 0, Bolton 0 in League One. As already Chilwell is sent away on the left-hand side. And there's been a goal at Arsenal. John Southall.
Unbelievable. 10 seconds on the clock. Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1. An attack down the right-hand side. And Philip Billing has just nudged it in from 7 yards out. Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1. There is a VAR check.
We'll wait for VAR. There would have been a time where 10 seconds would have been close to being one of the quickest goals in the Premier League. Was that Ledley King at Bradford City a number of years ago, but it was since Shane Long, I think, with something like 7.69 that is the quickest goal in the history of the Premier League, as Leeds United, with Ayling level with his own penalty area, goes back to Meslier, puts his foot through that, out towards Aronson, who was getting quite close to Badiashile on this near side. Chelsea, though, have repelled it, brought under control by Enzo Fernandez, plays the ball out to Raheem Sterling, right-hand side. Sterling delivers the cross, Ayling plays it away, bouncing ball goes over the head of Aronson. Rutter trying to drop back into his own half, can't control it. Chelsea have certainly started with a good tempo as Enzo Fernandez out to Sterling. Sterling just taken out of the game by Junior Firpo. Free kick to Chelsea.
Yeah, it's been a good start from Chelsea, moving around, quick tempo, and they're getting into the wider areas. They're putting the crosses in early, trying to put Leeds on the back foot, but Sterling gets it, tried to push it into space, and I say this had a little bit of contact, a little bit of a block. When you see the replay, it wasn't as bad as it first looked out onto the pitch, but a good opportunity for Chelsea now from this wide free kick just outside the penalty area. Haven't heard any more whether that goal actually stood, and in fact it did. Yeah, the goal has stood. So Bournemouth are leading at Arsenal by 1-0. What a turn-up that is. 0-0 here. Chelsea then have a free kick right-hand side, 2.5 minutes in. And it's going to be João Felix who curls it. Meslier pushed the ball away rather than catching it in a crowded 6-yard area. Goes out of play for a throw that Koulibaly is actually going to leave for Ben Chilwell to take. So he trots across to this near side here on a dry afternoon in West London, albeit a little bit nippy by London standards, as Chilwell waits to take the throw. Havertz shows himself, ball played in, cleared away by Tyler Adams, hooks it away downfield, and then the ball from Badiashile strikes his own player Koulibaly, but then comes to Badiashile, and now it's with Felix, who plays it forward. Havertz has made the run, hooks it into the edge of the penalty area. Kovacic was there, comes out to Loftus-Cheek. Man over right corner of the area is Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling waits, quickly surrounded by 3 white shirts. Ball then played forward. João Felix was going for the overhead kick. It was cleared away, and as he's going to come back to him, he would have been in an offside position, and it runs out of play and behind for a goal kick. Michael Brown. Yeah, it's been an excellent start, and it is that back three as expected. It's the slight change. Wesley Fofana playing on that right-hand side, not on the left as we probably thought he could have been, but Leeds United are feeling this early start. The pressure's been good, and you see straight away, we talked about Leeds United wanting to go and press and put Chelsea under pressure. Potter will be fully aware that he needs to get these supporters, his team, more confident than they have been, and been a good start.
Wycombe lead Exeter by 1-0 in League One. We'll go back to Arsenal. John Southall.
Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1, but good responses by Arsenal. Odegaard 20 yards out, saved by Neto on the follow-up. There was Saka, and there was the Brazilian again. Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1.
Bournemouth only 1 win in 11. So a shock scoreline there. And there's been another goal in the Premier League, and it's at Villa Park. John Bennett.
Wilfried Zaha is back. Aston Villa 0, Crystal Palace 1. A one-on-one chance taken by Wilfried Zaha. He ran clear, brilliant ball by Lise, took it around the goalkeeper Martinez into the back of the net. Villa 0, Crystal Palace 1.
Chilwell's just delivered a tantalising ball in from the left-hand side. Meslier caught it. A brief touch from Havertz, and Meslier might have been beaten because he came quite a way off his line.
He had to wait for it. The ball was that good. You're into that corridor, he's waiting for it, just waiting for a little touch. But good collection from Meslier, but as you said, one touch and it was one of those. Why did he come? He should have stayed at home. It would have beaten near post.
Talking about Bournemouth being out of form, 1 win in 11. Crystal Palace 9 games without a win. They have drawn their last 3, but they are leading there at Villa Park. As 0-0 here at Stamford Bridge. BBC Radio 5 Live, 5.5 minutes in, and Chelsea has certainly seen the better of the ball in these early stages. Michael Oliver has awarded a free kick, which Weston McKennie will knock short and away towards his right-hand side. Ayling is forward. Ahead of him is Somerville. He's actually bypassed Somerville, and it's going to run out of play and out for a Chelsea goal kick. So
Somerville just starting on that right hand side. Aronson has gone in support in that sort of number 10 role in the middle of the pitch, so let's see if they can get it out to Somerville. He's one who's going to be wanting to get in behind, in between obviously Chilwell, left side centre back of Chelsea. That's really a good area there.
That's Michael Brown, the former Leeds United midfielder. 78 appearances and 3 goals during his 3 years at Ellen Road.
I know exactly where you're going with the snigger.
There'll be more yellow cards, I would imagine, than
more
goals.
yellows and reds than goals.
We're going back to Villa Park because, John Bennett,
a reprieve for Aston Villa. It's still 0-0. Wilfried Zaha was just offside, literally by a toe. Aston Villa 0, Crystal Palace 0.
Chelsea are attacking. Loftus-Cheek, right corner of the area, back to Sterling, delivers a curling ball in. João Felix with his header, and it runs out for a goal kick. Featured game in League 2 is at Scotland. There's been a goal. Shojo Saka.
Yeah, bottom of the table. Rochdale 1, Stevenage 0. Devante Rodney on the end of an Abraham Odo pass through, and he slotted it beautifully. Rochdale 1, Stevenage 0.
Stevenage only gained their first win in 6 in midweek. Rochdale without a win in 9. That's bottom against second in League 2. And Wigan 0, Birmingham City 1 is the latest score in the Championship. Birmingham, who've lost their last 4, are ahead there in the northwest. Mellier's been told to hurry up to take the goal kick. Still goalless here. So the only goal in the Premier League of the 3 o'clock kickoffs is that shock scoreline with Bournemouth, who lead at Arsenal 1-0. Rutter coming forward here for Leeds United, dispossessed by Fernandes. He loses out. Adams slides the ball through, and Aronson, whose only goal for Leeds was actually against Chelsea, wins a corner kick. Meanwhile, a goal at Ibrox ready for sight.
And Rangers are taking the lead against Kilmarnock. A goal to nil. Connor Goldson getting it at the 3rd attempt from a corner kick, finally forcing the ball over. Rangers 1, Kilmarnock 0.
Corner kick to Leeds United. They're playing from left to right, far side the left. Chelsea have got everybody back, and it's going to be Somerville from that left-hand side who plays it to Harrison. Harrison looks up now and delivers the cross. The flick comes off the head of Rutter with his back to goal, and it drops out of play for a goal kick. Michael.
Yeah, good spell from Leeds United. Good forward pass. Harrison just getting into the space. And Koulibaly coming across. Big tackle. And the set piece just goes short on the corner. Try to be creative, try to move it around, and ball goes near post, flicked over from Rutter, but that'll give Leeds United a little bit of confidence. Supporters down to our left-hand side, very vocal as usual, these fans, and they'll want something to shout out. They'll want some Leeds United to be putting some pressure on. They won't want to sit back and let Chelsea dictate.
Certainly no love lost between the 2 sets of supporters.
I mean, there was some police out there so early this morning. Some of us got here really early, Deno, while you were just having a lie-in.
As the ball goes forward to Felix, and it's out of play for a goal kick, well marshalled by Ayling. Well, listen, if I was being paid extra, I'd get here early to work on Football Focus as well. That's the only reason you did arrive early.
Oh, wow.
If only I was your agent and taking 15% of your money, I'd be fine. I'm surprised you're not on Match of the Day tonight with Gary Lineker at 10:20 on BBC One.
I'm told the main night's on a Sunday. That's what I'm told.
Clearance away downfield by Verber. the Leeds United defender in his own penalty area. Here we are at Stamford Bridge, the venue that opened in 1877. Not as a football ground originally, that changed in 1904. Didn't know until yesterday that it actually hosted the World Shinty Final in 1898. That was Claire McDonald's fact of the day on Drive yesterday. You can hear that on Drive with Claire and Tony, although yesterday it was Gordon who was sitting alongside her on BBC Radio 5 Live. 10 minutes in. Key thing is I've remembered, unlike some. Ball played back to
again, that amazing fact.
Yeah.
But listen, as Leeds just retreat, Chelsea moving it around, trying to control, trying to just get into some spaces. You do feel with Chilwell there now, the deliveries can be so good if you get the ball to him.
Here is Kovacic to Chilwell. He's onto it first time, low into the ground. That was the curse of the commentator. He couldn't get any elevation, and it goes behind, and it's out for a goal kick. We'll go to Molineux for an update. Maz Faruqi.
Wolves 0, Spurs 0. Decent start for Tottenham though. Kulusevski with the shot block that he took on in the D. Son with one on target as well, but at a decent height for Sarr. Wolves not really in this game at the moment. Goalless here.
And it's 0-0 here, 11 minutes in, as Chelsea preparing for a busy few days. Borussia Dortmund here on Tuesday in the Champions League. You'll hear that on BBC Radio 5 Live. They played the goal kick short. Koch then charged down by Havertz. Last touch off Koch. And Leeds United protest, but Chelsea, through the presence of Havertz, have actually won a corner kick.
They don't look confident, do they, playing out? Chelsea say, go, OK, then, if you want to roll it inside your 6-yard area, split centre-backs, will come and press all the way. I don't know why they don't just go and play over it, but you say they couldn't clear the lines there, ricocheted off him, and that's a good opportunity for Chelsea.
Chilwell's going to take the corner kick. There are a couple of objects actually been thrown from the Leeds support in the direction of Ben Chilwell. It's a left-footed corner kick, and meeting it and arriving was Wesley Fofana. Just couldn't keep the header down, 6 yards out, over the top, and it goes behind for a goal kick. We'll go to Brighton. Jonathan Oberend.
It's Brighton 0, West Ham 0. First big chance falls to the home side. Solly March, great control, cutting in from the right-hand side. Acres of space as West Ham backed off him, and Areola a sharp save at the near post. Brighton 0, West Ham 0.
Well, Leeds United are not in this game at the moment, are they?
No, they're not. Good delivery from the set piece. Good late run. Fofana just heading over the bar. He's got to do better than that, Deno. I think he's got to hit the target for sure. Good opportunity. You see there is that Luke Ayling just took a little bit of contact to the face. He's staying down. I think he'll use his experience as well, whether he's hurt or not, just to really try and slow this game down. They started poorly, Leeds really. You expected some momentum from Chelsea, but there wasn't much in it. It was more Ayling running into Felix.
Yeah. He certainly didn't look to move out of the way, but there's no issue there of any chance of VAR taking any action against the Portuguese international. Arsenal-Bournemouth then, John Southall.
Bournemouth still lead by that 1-0, but Arsenal on top now. Really clever goal as well. Came from the kick-off. Arsenal expected Bournemouth to go to the left. They overloaded there. They played to the right, crossed it to Billing. He tucked it in. 9 seconds the official time. Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1.
Rutter forward for Leeds United on this right-hand side, and they win a corner kick. It was the challenge coming in from Ben Chilwell, 13 minutes played. Remember that Zaha goal was ruled out, so it's still Villa 0, Palace 0. That goal that John was just telling us about is the only goal so far in the top flight in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Aronson to take the corner kick then for Leeds United. Hasn't placed the ball down in the quadrant
Is
yet.
he doing something on his the hand on the head for the sign to say where the ball's going to go?
Seemed very deliberate, didn't it? Stuttering run up, delivers it right-footed, pulls it out now, edge of the area, took a deflection, picked up though by Junior Firpo, running out towards that left-hand side, tries to nudge it past Kovacic, who's level with his own penalty area, and he now finds Felix ahead of him. Midway through his own half, and Chelsea will get a throw over on that right-hand side. Livingston lead Hibs by 1-0 in the Scottish Premiership. Livingston 1, Hibernian 0. No other goals to tell you about around the country so far.
And just looking at that sign that he's just made, it was as if to say we're going to go in this front post spot, and it wasn't a good one, was it? It didn't look good when you make it so obvious. Actually, I think it was the run from the back post. Somerville trying to get a little bit of space, just didn't come off.
Here is Chilwell on the near side. He trips up there. If Mark Chapman's listening, that's definitely one for too good, too bad tomorrow, much the day. There was an invisible challenge and he just fell forward like a late night straggler after one too many. Don't say anything. Loftus-Cheek, right-hand side, up towards Sterling, loses the ball. Harrison picks it up midway through his own half, chips it over the top. Aronson now running onto it left-hand side. Nearly quarter of an hour played here at Stamford Bridge. And back with Tyler Adams. Leeds United now just starting to grow into the game, seeing a lot more of the ball. Firpo goes on the overlap, not utilised at all. Adams is dispossessed, tries to win it back. Wesley Fofana goes into the challenge. Adams throws himself into it. Sterling now takes it over. Sterling running forward. It's 3 against 3. He threads the ball through. Havertz now. Havertz into the penalty area. Havertz tries the chip. Excellent save by Meslier. Just lifted his right arm to divert it behind for a corner kick, 0-0.
That's brilliant for Raheem Sterling. He just skipped inside and a wonderful weighted pass. It doesn't get any better. And as Havertz just draws and Meslier, he waits. I think he's just got to hit it right across the goalkeeper early, Deno. He doesn't, he waits, he tries to be clever, tries to be composed. He comes out, makes himself big. It's a good save with his right hand.
Leyton Orient, the leaders of League Two, they're unbeaten in 6. They lead Swindon Town at Brisbane Road by 1-0. Corner kick comes in. Headed out by Ruta inside his own 6-yard area. Chelsea get it back, lifted into the air by Kovacic. Edge of the penalty area, headed away by Harrison. Ruta can't get a hold of it. Pace too quick for him at the moment, it seems, as Chelsea with Badiashile out to Chilwell. Chilwell then turns, moves a little bit back towards the halfway line. Kovacic will come forward. Chilwell's actually stayed out wide on this near side, the left, and is unmarked. But they go back into the centre circle, Chelsea, and that was Enzo Fernandez. Koulibaly, Chelsea certainly on top. Badiashile, Chilwell waits, and then the ball is played back. And at the minute, Chelsea being very, very patient, keeping the ball, but Leeds United with a very, very high line.
They've just gone 4-4-1-1, haven't they? Just sat there saying, OK, we'll pack the middle of it. Just got to be careful they don't get done in behind, though.
Loftus-Cheek has done well, and he fires in that cross from the right-hand side. Verber turns it behind, comes away off his left foot behind for a corner kick, still goalless.
Again, great intent. Verber, a good position just inside that 6-yard area. It's that zone, you've got to get some contact, left-footed. Clears it for a corner, but now it's about the setup, the operation. Leeds United all marking 4v4, one on the edge of the 6, one front post, one in behind, it's near the goalkeeper, a couple on the edge.
Felix to take it into the near post, cleared away by Harrison before it could reach Loftus-Cheek, and then it was tidied up on that far side by Raheem Sterling for Chelsea, as they build once again with Enzo Fernandez, the World Cup winner, signed for a British record transfer fee of £107 million, part of an astonishing spending spree from Chelsea over the last 2 windows. A penalty at the Amex, Jonathan Oberend.
Penalty to Brighton, foul on Mitoma by Bowen, clear decision by Stuart Atwell, VAR check complete, and it's Pascal Gross with the ball on the spot. Areola on the goal line, making himself tall, but Gross strikes it past him right-footed, and it's Brighton 1, West Ham 0.
The goals as they go in on BBC Radio 5 Live. We talk about Leeds United's woeful record away from home. Of course, West Ham United equally as anemic on their travels. As Felix with a little touch was nice. Brings Chilwell into play on this near side. Chilwell, though, can't deliver the cross. Quickly closed down by Adams. 18 minutes played. Another Chelsea corner kick.
It's great awareness, wasn't it? Just coming off. Felix, just a little touch. He knows someone's tight, can't take it. Just flicks it right outside to the left-hand foot of Chilwell. As he steps onto it, though, I'm expecting a good delivery. Was good cover. Probably ahead of it to be able to put the ball right into the 6-yard area. But good opportunity.
Chilwell waits, both arms aloft. Corner kick near side the left-footed, away from goal. Reaching for it was Badiashile. They're appealing for a penalty there that Michael Oliver has just turned away from. Can't work out who the Chelsea player is who's stayed down inside the penalty area. It's Wesley Fofana, in fact. Meslier is just patting him on the back. There's another Chelsea player who's also down on his haunches. That's Felix. And the ball by Kepa has gone out of play to allow the physio to come on.
Do you think it's one of these now where you stay, there is a bit of contact, you wait, you delay it, and just see if anything can be given? Is there any little bit of contact in this penalty area? They asked for it. They're not really going mad after the referee. Was he trying to see this replay? Does Luke Ayling just catch the bottom of him?
Well, VAR are looking for a higher bar to try and raise the consistency for those subjective decisions. Rotherham, incidentally, leading Queen's Park Rangers by a 1-0. They lost against Blackburn last weekend for Gareth Ainsworth's first game in charge, actually without a win in 11 in the Championship. QPR and Rotherham are 1-0 up, and Felix is able to continue. Fofana is back on his feet and plays back underway. 20 minutes played. Any sign of an Arsenal equaliser, John Southall?
Well, it could be 2-0, Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 2, on Bournemouth 1, Bournemouth on the break, Billing to Atara, unmarked on the right of the penalty area, should really have scored, good save from Ramsdale. Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1.
As it stands, as a result of that shock scoreline, Leeds United in the live Premier League table, if you like, have actually dropped into the bottom three as a result at the moment. 0-0 here. Everton and Southampton are behind them as Meslier catches that ball. And we're approaching the midway point of the first half here on BBC Radio 5 Live, and it is still 0-0. Wöber, deep inside his own half, hits a left-footed forward ball that is aimed towards Aronson, and Wesley Fofana heads it out of play. Michael Oliver says that is a Leeds United throw.
So if you're Leeds United, you actually just think, let the clock continue, let's just keep with it, conceding too much territory, too much chances against you, and just try and grow into it, try and create something when possible. But it's been an interesting start, it's been a little bit scrappy. We've seen a couple of chances, and Leeds United come forward now. They've got to do a little bit better on the ball.
Leeds with Somerville, gives it away to Chilwell, who presents it back to Somerville, but he's crowded out and he's lost the ball. Felix over the halfway line, just moves away from Adams. He's got the supporting run through the middle of Fernandes. Fernandes passes a diagonal ball to Sterling, cuts it back. Felix off the crossbar. That would have been a wonderful goal. Fired back in by Fernandes and drifts wide. And the Chelsea supporters in front of us have their hands on their heads. What a sweeping move that was. So unfortunate.
That was a wonderful move. The awareness of Raheem Sterling was excellent. He felt like he was going to put it right across the corridor, 6 yards between the penalty spot as well. He doesn't. He pulls it back. Felix is coming late, right on the edge of the area. Hits it right-footed. It's going right into the top left corner. I think it hits corner of post and bar. The strike is so clean. Difficult, bouncing, great technique, catches it on the volley. Just seeing it back just a little bit further inside actually as it hits the bar, but wonderful opportunity and a great move from Chelsea.
So earlier Manchester City beat Newcastle United by 2-0. Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1. That goal after 9 seconds from Philip Billing as Enzo Fernandez comes forward for Chelsea. Challenge though is a good one by Wöber. Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1, Villa 0, Crystal Palace 0, Brighton 1, West Ham United 0. That penalty from Alexis McAllister. Chelsea is goalless here, as is Molineux between Wolves and Tottenham. But elsewhere in London there's been a goal. Laura Kenyon.
Millwall 1, Norwich 0. Tom Bradshaw, the 30-year-old Welshman, with his 30th goal of the season, took his chance, clinical, deep in the box, and Millwall unbeaten since September. Well, they're ahead here. It's Millwall 1, Norwich 0.
Yeah, looking to extend it to 12 unbeaten at home are Millwall. Derby County have taken the lead at home to Shrewsbury in League One. Derby County 1, Shrewsbury 0, and there are no other goals to tell you about. We're midway through the first half. It remains 0-0 here.
Yeah, just going back to that chance, it was Chelsea who created it, and it was really good play. Raheem Sterling started well in this game. A little bit of criticism of late. Felix as well. We've not really seen the best of him, have we, Deno? Do you know the expectation, the level of what you thought was going to come? But that was wonderful to hit it like that, off the ground, side-footed onto the bar. It was great effort.
Yeah, I suppose it doesn't help when you get sent off on your debut at Fulham, does it? For Felix, who's scored just the one goal. That would have been his first goal here at Stamford Bridge. It was a lovely move by Chelsea, but the Chelsea fans must be thinking, oh, here we go again, when they've seen their side score one goal in their last 5 in the Premier League. But Chilwell is forward here now, an unlikely source. And it was Koch who made the challenge in the penalty area. Leeds get it away. Somerville's kept it in play, but actually only presented the ball to Kovacic, and Chelsea will come again. Out to Felix. On the inside, he loses the ball. Kovacic takes it over. Kovacic comes forward now, 30 yards from goal. Nice build-up play. Shot from Enzo Fernandez warms the hands of Meslier. And there is a penalty at Middlesbrough. Chris Coles.
It's just been scored by Middlesbrough, Ian, and guess who? Chuba Akpom doing what Chuba Akpom does. Rolled it into the bottom right-hand corner. His 20th league goal of the season, and Middlesbrough have a 1-goal lead over Reading.
Hearts lead St Johnstone by a 1-0 in the Scottish Premiership. Lincoln are leading Oxford United. They sacked their manager Carl Robinson last weekend. And Forest Green, who are yet to win since big Duncan Ferguson took charge. He's drawn 2 and lost 4. They've had the lead before in many games. They've seen their side lead Accrington. Accrington 0, Forest Green 1. Walsall 0, Barrow 1 is the latest score in League 2. What about the Premier League leaders, Arsenal? John Southall.
They still trail Bournemouth by 1-0 and Leandro Trossard has just limped off. Emile Smith Rowe is on. Odegaard with a free kick 25 yards out wide of the right hand post. Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1.
Koulibaly almost lost it there to Aronson. Kepa clears in that luminous orange goalkeeping outfit away towards his our right hand side. Out of play, goes for a throw.
It suit you that, Deno, wouldn't it? That outfit.
It's like one of my highlighter pens for my notes.
It would. But he took a big risk, didn't he? Koulibaly was lucky. Aronson just getting the other side. He's Sterling again.
Sterling putting pressure on Firpo. Firpo actually stands firm, does well, the Leeds United left back. Then they give the ball away, straight to Havertz, 30 yards out from goal. Inside to Fernandez. Fernandez finds Felix, pushes the ball into the penalty area. Just one little touch of his right foot. Ushered it into the path of Chilwell, comes back out of the penalty area. Felix looking for the return. Havertz spins, and Koch turns and clears it out to Somerville, who plays it forward, and it goes ahead of Aronson. Leeds at the minute, they just can't seem to click from the 2/3 that they're defending to that final third.
The transition going forward when they win the ball back, but that's when they say they wanted to go and press a little bit higher where possible, but they've not been allowed to. They're banked out. Yes, they've got a high line, but when they've actually win the ball back in transition, nowhere to go. It was disappointing there as well from Somerville. There's no chance to go forward from it.
Port Vale 1, MK Dons 0. Wimbledon lead Mansfield Town by a 1-0 in League 2. We're going back to Brighton. Jonathan Oberend.
Good response from West Ham after going behind, and Jason Steele in the Brighton goal has just made a double save from Bowen and then from Soucek, justifying De Zerbi's position of giving him only his second Premier League start in goal in 4.5 years today. Good double save. 1-0 Brighton.
Just one defeat in 9 for Brighton and Hove Albion. Chilwell chips the ball forward. Havertz tries to roll away from Koch. Wins the ball as well. Ayling now comes back at Havertz. The cross goes out of play for a throw. Goal at Villa Park, John Bennett.
To Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0. Oh, the great work by Matty Cash, bursting down the right hand side, crossed it in, and it was an own goal. Joachim Andersen with the final touch, pushing it past his own keeper, Guaita. Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Crystal Palace could easily be sucked into the or get embroiled in the relegation battle. They're on 27 points. They still need, you would think, at least another 10 in the remaining fixtures. 9 without a win and behind. Another goal at Ibrox, ready for Scythe.
Rangers are soothing their League Cup final hangover. A second goal for them, this time for Fashion Sakala. Deflected shot, but he had 3 goes at it. That's what's wrong with Kilmarnock's defence. Rangers 2, Kilmarnock 0.
0-0 here at Stamford Bridge. Bournemouth are leading at Arsenal 1-0. Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0. Brighton and Hove Albion 1, West Ham United 0. No goals at Molineux. Wesley Fofana forward, finds Sterling on the half turn, 25 yards out from goal, drifting out towards that right hand side, finds the right wing back Loftus-Cheek, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and now coming forward was Enzo Fernandez, and he just couldn't find that ball through, and it runs through to Meslier. Now, our featured game in League 2 is bottom of the table against second place Stevenage, and another goal for Shojo Saka.
Rochdale 2, Stevenage 0. Brilliant work on the right by teenager and local academy product Ethan Briley. Set up Danny Lloyd for an easy finish. Rochdale 2, Stevenage 0.
Work to do for Steve Evans' side. Adams goes into the challenge. Enzo Fernandez, though, won it cleaning, says Michael Oliver. Wesley Fofana running forward for Chelsea. We're approaching the half-hour mark, and it is still 0-0. You just sense the odd little murmur from the Chelsea supporters. This lack of goals must be a real concern for all concerned at Stamford Bridge, but they have done the majority of this 29 minutes probing, and they have been unfortunate. They've had 3 opportunities. Wesley Fofana heading over from 6 yards. Meslier made a good save from Havertz, and Felix crashed a shot against the crossbar. On that right hand side, Loftus-Cheek back towards Sterling. Sterling looking to get away from Ruta, almost overruns it. Aronson gets a foot into the challenge. There to help mop it back up in the midfield was Kovacic. Every outfield player is indeed in the Leeds United half, but Kovacic at the minute has to go square. We'll go to Molineux, Maz Faruqi.
Still Wolves 0, Spurs 0, but Diego Costa has been stretchered off. He went down clutching his left knee, looked in some pain, the Wolves forward. He fell awkwardly as he challenged for the ball with Oliver Skipp. Raul Jimenez has had to come on in his place, so still goalless, but Wolves into an enforced sub.
Champions League next week, 5 Live Sport, Stamford Bridge Tuesday, Chelsea against Borussia Dortmund. Wednesday we move to North London, Tottenham against Milan, as both London clubs are looking to try and overturn that 1-0 deficit from the first leg. A smiling Michael Brown.
Yeah, I was smiling watching Chelsea straight away. Luke Ayling did get done over his shoulder. Chilwell going late. They've just tried it again, but I think now Luke Ayling's got to open up and realise that run's going to be from late and it's going to be inside and with no pressure on the ball. That'll be something Graham Potter will be looking at. In-play switches, in-play information that he's so good at, I think.
Here is Ayling with the cross. Rutter tees it up to Aronson, whose shot goes down into the ground off a deflection, and then it loops up, takes all the power off the ball, and it's easily caught above his head by Kepa Arrizabalaga away towards our right-hand side.
Half chance, wasn't it, as it's set down. Good block, getting into a better position. It's that set you want. Again, just really feel like Leeds United are saying, OK, we'll press wherever possible, but we'll just retreat in our own half, but with a high line, keep us compact, try and kill the space. But it's these wing-back positions that Chelsea have got to do it quicker.
Havertz looking for Chilwell. Chilwell with a first-time finish, puts it wide. Chipped over the top, inside left channel of the penalty area, left-footed, guides it a good 2 yards wide of the right-hand post, 0-0.
You can see it starting to develop. We've just talked about it straight away. It's the late run. Luke Ayling's getting dragged in. Felix just going to have good position outside of Robin Koch, and then it draws in the full back on cover. I think now he's got to leave them to it. He's got to say, do you know what, I'm going to open up, I'm going to have half a look, I've got to open my body shape and wait for that late run. But it was difficult. He's tried to hit it, Chilwell, on the volley into the far post. I felt like he could have took a touch, Deno, and just rolled it across the centre.
They're a nice side to watch though, aren't they, Chelsea?
Yeah, that's the thing, we expect that. I don't say where there's not nice players. The question mark is, how do they make sure they get something else? Where do they find that extra determination, that quality, that switch on right throughout the game so they don't concede?
Firpo, Harrison, midway through his own half, far side the left. Leeds in their white shirts and white shorts are playing from left to right. 13 minutes to go to half-time on BBC Radio 5 Live. Adams forward to his fellow American. Aronson into the penalty area left-hand side, down towards the byline, pulls it back. He was looking for, I think it was McKennie who'd got forward into the, no, it was Junior Firpo had actually got forward into that penalty area, and it was turned behind for a corner kick. Salford 0, Newport 1, incidentally, is the latest score in League Two.
It was great play down the left-hand side. I mean, Aronson wanted it for such a long period, saying pointing, put me in. And as he gets into the box, it's like a late check, as if he's checking back. He gets into a good position. Fofana's left, but when you talk midfield players running, desire, Kovacic, brilliant that he went all the way, killed the space, nullified that attack.
Of course, he got the winning goal against Southampton, did Junior Firpo last weekend. Corner kick left-hand side. It's an in-swinger, headed out at the near post, bouncing ball on the edge of the area. Ayling looked like he was going to wheel himself up and set himself up for the acrobatic effort, as the ball up towards Sterling is going to be easily seen back by Firpo to Meslier. Hits it downfield, left-footed, and chested forward by Koulibaly to Kovacic. Touches the ball back to Wesley Fofana.
Leeds' set piece there, they ringed actually round the goalkeeper, didn't they? Tried to put the pressure on, tried to get any sort of contact near post, but it was well cleared away. But you're just watching as Chelsea just mop up. Koulibaly tries to dictate, set the play off again, but it has been all Chelsea. Leeds United have come up forward occasionally. I just feel now, if Chelsea really up the tempo, up the desire, can they get that opening goal? It could be critical.
Well, it's a throw from the right-hand side that Rutter can't hold on to. Kovacic then to a stretching Wesley Fofana. Mansfield have equalised at Wimbledon. That's now 1-1. Loftus-Cheek to Sterling. It breaks down. Ball picked up by Somerville on the left-hand side and crudely taken out by Wesley Fofana. And that will be a yellow card. Elsewhere, I can tell you that it's Hibs who've equalised at Livingston. Livingston 1, Hibs 1 in the Scottish Premiership. Coventry City unbeaten in 5. Mark Robins returning to his former club. Huddersfield Town 0, Coventry 1 in the Championship. And Ipswich Town, who are unbeaten in 9 at home, are leading Burton Albion by a 1-0 at Portman Road in League One. Ipswich 1, Burton 0. Let's go back to John Southall watching Arsenal-Bournemouth.
Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1. Just had a VAR check for potential penalty. Chris Meppen went up for a corner, did hit the arm, but not given. 87% possession Arsenal have got at the moment, but it is Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1.
And remember, their lead at the start of play was just 2 points after Newcastle United lost at the Etihad. Manchester City 2, Newcastle United 0 was the result in the early kick-off. Ball chipped forward. It was aimed towards Rutter. It was repelled by the Chelsea defence. Adams tussling there with Fernandes, and then the ball is played out by McKennie towards Harrison, but the referee has spotted something. Flags up on this near side. It will be a free kick to Chelsea. Just gone a little bit flat, do you feel?
Yeah, it's gone flat, but it'll suit Leeds United. He's got a slight injury, a little bit of a concern. Is it McKennie in the centre of the pitch? Is it red tie, or is it Adams? Is he just led back? It's Adams, yeah. But as I say to you, Joe, that was a big challenge, wasn't it, from Fofana? Yeah. Trying to get a breakaway. That we see that replay again. It was knee high. It didn't have any force, but he knew exactly what he was doing. He was lost. He was to make sure there was no advantage gained in a good area for Leeds United. He brought him down, and it was an easy one for the referee.
Leeds United looking to come forward with Aronson. Reaches Rutter, takes it on the chest, turns on the halfway line. He's got Ayling on this near side, the right. Still 0-0 here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Finds Somerville, gets away from Koulibaly. Koulibaly gives away a free kick. Just caught Somerville. This is a threatening position for Leeds United. It's right of centre, just outside the penalty area, 0-0.
It's still really wide, isn't it? Great feet. Koulibaly comes tight. I think he's got him. I think there was no space, but as he just goes into the space, drops his shoulder right, there's that little bit of contact and that little tangle. Really, really good. He didn't go to ground, it was more of his body that come into the play, didn't it, of Somerville, but good position now. It is a little bit wide. What do you go with? Is it the left footer? You try and move the ball to give yourself a little better angle, but Jack Harrison's over it.
Well, it's about 6 yards infield from the right corner of the penalty area. Harrison is looking at it with his left foot. Aronson has also come across.
Can you sneak that near post, right footer?
Well, I wonder if that's what Aronson is looking at. They've got 4 in the wall of Chelsea. It really is a threatening position. Free kick for Leeds United. It is Harrison, left-footed, and it's over the top of the crossbar and out for a goal kick.
That was a good position, really. You've got to hit the target. I felt like the wall was a little bit further over, and you look at the edge of the wall when you've got Chilwell. I felt like the right footer possibly could have just got enough whip on it from this angle we were at.
Well, Middlesbrough are looking to close the gap for that second automatic promotion spot after Sheffield United lost at Ewood Park earlier today. The last we heard, they were ahead. Chris Coles.
They still are ahead by 1-0, but they thought they had a second goal. Denied, though, by the offside flag. Cameron Archer, great finish, top corner, but he went slightly too early to convert Ryan Giles' cross. Still Middlesbrough 1, Reading 0.
Latest score in League 2, Sutton 0, Crewe 1, and Carlisle are leading Grimsby by 1-0. Carlisle, who've won their last 2 at home. Paul Simpson's side are going very, very well. 1-0 there in Cumbria. At Brunton Park, of course, as it's here at Stamford Bridge. Still 0-0 between Chelsea and Leeds United. Ball goes infield to Fernandes. Challenge comes in from McKennie, forces Fernandes back. A little bit off balance. It eventually reaches Loftus-Cheek. Thought at one stage it was going to just sell him a fraction short. Just over 5 minutes to go to half-time. Leeds all of a sudden they're
pressing well.
Yeah.
You know, from the shape, they're just staying in the shape. As soon as that short ball, they go. Managers on the side saying, wait, now retreat, get back in the shape. They're just releasing them one at a time, just waiting.
Are they pressing higher?
Not necessarily higher. It's when the press is on. When the slow pass goes across, Deno, then they can do it. And that's the difference. When they're in the middle area, they've got a chance to do it. When the build-up's there, they'll just say, OK, we'll sit back slightly, wait till you get sort of around the halfway line.
Ball played out to Firpo. Knocks it back, Verber. No pressure on the ball, so McKennie is able to turn. Adams inside the centre circle. Chelsea have dropped off.
But if you look at Leeds there now, they've obviously got build-up going from centre-back position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, level with their back five. So they're really, really high when they've got possession, Leeds.
Koch slides it into the path of Ruta. He's dispossessed by Koulibaly, and Chelsea with Chilwell can clear from defence. 5 minutes to go to half-time, and it remains 0-0. We're going back to Millwall. Another goal, Laura Kenyon.
Millwall 1, Norwich 1. The equaliser from Jacob Sorensen. Clever corner, arrived top of the box and coolly slotted home. Watched on by Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, who is at the Den today. It's Millwall 1, Norwich 1.
Raised a few eyebrows, I'm sure, as Verba out to Firpo. Adams back then, no pressure again on that Leeds United back line. Finds Meslier, he's out of his penalty area, actually puts his left foot on the ball inside that D and gets it back. Graham Potter patrolling that technical area down below. Javi Gracia is to his right.
It's because they're taking him back. They're committing numbers forward. Obviously, it's given them the overload, and Chelsea don't know what to do with it at this moment.
Somerville, he got a nudge from behind there by Felix, and then he eventually takes a tumble. Ipswich Town, I notice they've got a second goal at home to Burton. So Ipswich Town 2, Burton Albion 0 is a latest score in League One.
He's getting in some good positions, isn't he, Somerville? Really difficult to take the ball off him. Draws the foul in, moves it quickly. But again, you can hear these Leeds United supporters to the left-hand side. They'll be delighted. They'll be looking at the clock thinking, keep it like this. Can we grow into the game? But you expect Chelsea's reaction. I'm looking at the manager and saying, what can he do? What can he change? He's got to do it sooner rather than later for me.
Very subdued atmosphere, though, from the Chelsea support inside Stamford Bridge with 4 minutes to go to half-time.
It's interesting in the boxes opposite us, Deno. Do you know, you'd say, was that the ones where Abramovich, where there's nobody actually sat in them, is there?
Well, Todd Boehly is here today, the owner. Splashed out £600 million on 18 new players in the 2 windows since taking charge. And there's been a goal in the Championship at Kenilworth Road, Aaron Paul.
Luton 1, Swansea 0. It's another goal for Carlton Morris. The home side have been pushing. It was Alfie Doughty who drilled the ball across the face of goal. Andy Fisher, the Swans keeper, thought he'd managed to grab onto it. He let it out of his grasp, and 2 yards out, Morris smashed home. Luton 1, Swansea 0.
Livingston 1, Hibs 2. Hibs have come from behind in the Scottish Premiership. Ball played out to Loftus-Cheek, did well high on the chest, plays it back to Sterling, right corner of the area. Sterling is faced by 2 white shirts ahead of him. He holds on to the ball, runs in field, chips the ball into the penalty box, and Ayling directs the header back to Meslier.
Yeah, he does well there, Luke Ayling. A bit of experience, it's under pressure in behind him, but again, he could have just headed it out if he wasn't sure, but he had a look around and had a little cushioned header down to the feet of Meslier. So it's been a good spell for Leeds United the last 5 minutes or so. You can see a bit more confidence in their passing, a bit more belief, taking the ball, and Chelsea have got to change that rhythm.
Interesting to gauge the reaction of the Chelsea support at half-time. Stoke City, managed by Alex Neil, returning to the Stadium of Light. They've taken the lead there on Wearside. Sunderland 0, Stoke City 1. Sunderland have lost their last 2, albeit both of them were away from home. As the ball with Leeds goes out to Harrison, far side the left, he loses it to Loftus-Cheek, forward ball to Sterling. Sterling waits for it to settle, then hits a diagonal ball that Ayling is able to direct into the feet of Koch. And we have 2 minutes remaining of this first half at Stamford Bridge, and it's still 0-0. Ruta picks it up, threads it through. Aronson looking to get round the back. Koulibaly has done well to get something on it. Aronson, though, still into the penalty area, down by the byline, pulls it back, and Loftus-Cheek tracks the run of Harrison into the penalty area to make the clearance. Chelsea now urged on by their supporters. Chilwell to Kovacic. Sterling just over the halfway line, plays it back. Enzo Fernandez lifts it into the air. Chilwell is forward. 90 seconds to go. Chilwell with the cross. Meslier claims it. Came a long way off his line. Good take.
Yeah, it's a great take under pressure late on in this first half, but it was all about Leeds United's opportunity. A threaded ball in behind, Aronson on the shoulder, and I thought he'd got the better of Koulibaly as he's right in towards goal. It was a great recovery, gets his left arm up, gambles with his outside of his right foot, pushes the ball wide, and Aronson very clever into the centre of the pitch. Loftus-Cheek, who we've not really mentioned, got a good cover on.
So the 4 chances that Chelsea have created, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 22 and 32. And they really have, Leeds United are growing in confidence towards the end of this first half. We have 40 seconds of normal time remaining, still 0-0. McKennie leaves it to Adams. McKennie now takes over. Passes the ball forward to Harrison. Rutter tries to chip it back to Harrison, left-hand side of the penalty area. Cleared away by Fernandez. Firpo brings it under control on the halfway line. And Leeds United now with Adams to Koch. Running forward. Somerville drops deep midway through the Chelsea half. Links up well with Aronson. Somerville now takes it away from Koulibaly. Threads it through. Harrison's onto it, penalty area. And it's saved low by Arrizabalaga, because otherwise Rutter was faced with a tap-in.
Yeah, it was great play, wasn't it? They moved Chelsea around in good positions. The ball went left. Jack Harrison put into a dangerous area, but Chelsea come now. They've got to do something about it. Can they end the half with an opportunity?
We've got 60 seconds remaining of this first half of stoppage time, and it's still 0-0. Sterling, right-hand side. Sterling shown on the inside, enters the penalty area, plays it back. Fernandez, left-footed, off-balanced, headed away by Koch, only as far as Koulibaly, midway through the Chelsea half. Back to Fernandez, lifts the ball forward, Felix is there, punched away by Meslier. Accrington 1, Forest Green 1. Forest Green, incidentally, are down to 10 men. Oliver Casey has been sent off. In League 2, it's Tranmere 0, Hartlepool 1, and Ipswich Town have got a third. Ipswich 3, Burton 0. Penalty at Ibrox, ready for side.
To be taken by the captain, James Tavernier. It was a handball offence spotted by VAR. The referee is just making sure that everybody is outside the box again, and still patiently Tavernier awaits to take it. Usually scores, doesn't always, missed one against Partick Thistle. Can he score this one? Looking up, does his little shuffle with the feet on the spot, drives forward into the net. Kilmarnock surely finished. Rangers 3, Kilmarnock 0 on the stroke of half time.
Rangers 3, Kilmarnock 0, straight to the Riverside. Chris Coles.
Where it's now Middlesbrough 2, Reading 0. Aaron Ramsey, first half stoppage time, capitalising on a bad error from the Reading defence. He was clean through, great finish, and it's a good scoreline now for Middlesbrough. 2-0 over Reading.
And half-time here at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 0, Leeds United 0, as Carlisle lead Grimsby Town by 2-0. Don't go anywhere, Michael. Mark Chapman might ask you a question.
Yes, I will. Yeah, no. Yes, I will. Sorry, I was just noting down the Accrington Stanley goal scorer. Sorry, that 45 minutes encapsulates Chelsea at the moment, doesn't it? A few chances, don't take them. Opposition find their feet a little bit. Crowd get restless.
I think that's exactly that. Somebody right in front of me, one of the supporters, turned around, who we discussed with before, and he said, just not good enough. I'm sort of saying to him, it wasn't bad. They had a couple of opportunities. I think when Leeds United grow into it, had those chances towards the end of that first half, added that little bit of pressure on Chelsea, asking questions again. They're going to need a big second half, chappers, because really the tempo is still not high enough. They're still not really fizzing it past Leeds United. There's no real excitement in the stadium. It was a great effort though as well off the bar, wasn't it, from Felix?
Did you do Carlisle 2-0 up, Ian?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
In fact, we're up to date, so you don't have to worry about that.
You caught him out there, Chappers. His mic was down, he was ready, he was just looking relaxing.
Already got the
His
sausage roll ready, hadn't
he? Two sausage rolls.
Listen, I did the sausage roll run for Mark.
You did, and it was very grateful. Thank you. Right, back to Stamford Bridge for the second half in 50 minutes. They are still playing at the Emirates, and at the moment Arsenal can't find a way through, John Southall.
No, it's been a very familiar pattern in this first half since the goal on 9 seconds. Now it does go the half-time whistle. Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1. They've had 86% possession. Martinelli just hitting the side netting there right at the end of the half, but the goal itself 9 seconds in, clever kick-off from Bournemouth. They overloaded on the left-hand side, played the kick-off to the right. Arsenal outflanked. Ouattara crossed, picked out Philip Billing, who tapped in from 6 yards out. Since then, it has been all Arsenal. Neto made a double save to deny Odegaard and Saka, but it could have been 2-0 on the break. Ouattara unmarked on the right, but there was Ramsdale to save Arsenal. This will test their mettle, this will test their character. Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1.
It is an absolutely brilliant kick-off routine and well worth watching. Match of the day tonight, 10:20 on BBC One. A spot kick the difference between the two sides at the Amex. Jonathan Overend.
Yes, Brighton 1, West Ham 0 at half-time. Brighton good value for it. They've had the bulk of the possession, and their tactic today targeting the West Ham fullbacks who've looked scared throughout the whole 45 minutes. Johnson on the right, Emerson on the left, exposed by Matoma on the Brighton left, and Solly March, who's been excellent cutting in from the right-hand side. The goal, a penalty, as you say, a foul by Bowen on Matoma, and it was struck home by Alexis McAllister. Brighton 1, West Ham 0.
Next, let's go to John Bennett at Villa Park.
Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0 at half-time. Villa winning, but we haven't had any shots on target. The only goal, an own goal. Matty Cash with a great run down the right-hand side. Here's the low cross turned in by the sliding in Joachim Andersen. Palace have been unlucky because early on they thought they'd taken the lead. Wilf Zaha on his comeback from injury, one-on-one with the FIFA best keeper of the year, Emi Martinez, took it round him, found the net, but it was ruled out by a VAR check. He was just offside. So Villa close to ending a 2-game home losing run, but they should be 2-0 up. Ollie Watkins missed a great chance just before half-time. Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0.
19th for the season for David McGoldrick, and that has doubled Derby's lead at home to Shrewsbury, 2-0. Salford have equalised right on the stroke of half-time. Callum Hendry with that. Salford 1, Newport 1, still playing at Molineux. Maz Faruqi.
Yeah, we've got 8 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half here, but Tottenham with a dangerous looking set piece opportunity here as Porro takes the shot on just outside the area, and I think it bounced off the crossbar, that strike from Porro, that set piece opportunity. So that one of the best chances that Tottenham have had this half. Goalless though, as we say, and the big headlines from this first half is that Diogo Costa has had to be stretchered off with what looks like a serious knee injury, as we're probably now into the last 90 seconds before half-time. Still Wolves 0, Tottenham 0.
OK, Maz, thanks very much. 2 early games in the Championship today. Blackburn beat Sheffield United 1-0. Cardiff ended Bristol City's 9-match unbeaten run with a 2-0 win at the Cardiff City Stadium. Leaders Burnley are at Blackpool. Lee Blakeman.
Poor game this, Mark. Blackpool 0, Burnley 0. Just 2 efforts on target. Goodmanson with the first, edge of the area, hit a shot. Maxwell at full stretch to keep it out. Great save that was. Teller headed straight at Maxwell with the other effort on target. Burnley dominating possession as you'd expect. Blackpool creating very little. 0-0 at the break.
Sheffield United's defeat earlier means Middlesbrough can close the gap. Chris Coles.
And so far so good in that regard, Mark. Middlesbrough leading Reading by 2-0. Chuba Akpom's penalty after an Andy Yiadom handball in the box. Akpom's 20th league goal of the season. Aaron Ramsey added a second in stoppage time, winning the ball on the halfway line, racing through. Good finish into the corner. They've also hit a post and had a goal ruled out for offside. The margin could easily be greater. Not much from Reading, save for a decent penalty shout turned down midway through the half. Middlesbrough 2, Reading 0.
Another playoff side lead at the break. Aaron Paul.
Luton 1, Swansea 0. The home side ahead after what's been an unspectacular first half. Carlton Morris has been the standout performer over the both sides. The Luton top scorer, key to anything going forward for the hosts, and after planting a couple of headers on target early in the game, broke the deadlock 6 minutes before the break. Alfie Doughty drilled across the face of goal. Andy Fisher in the Swansea goal fumble, with Morris able to tuck home for his 14th of the season. That's the only goal that splits these two sides at half-time. Luton 1, Swansea 0.
So will Gianni Infantino have been entertained at the Den? Laura Kenyon.
We'll have it's Millwall 1, Norwich 1. Cracking battle between two sides pushing for a playoff place. Just 2 points between them. Tom Bradshaw opened the scoring for the hosts, his 13th of the season. Jacob Sorensen then levelled things up in front of a sellout crowd here at the Den. Gianni Infantino, well, I imagine he must have gone for his half-time pie, chappers. It's Millwall 1, Norwich 1.
Goalless at Vicarage Road at the break. Victoria Polly.
Yeah, not being a classic here. Watford started the brighter of the two sides, but João Pedro couldn't get enough power on his point-blank header, and Sarr's ball into the box was too far behind a Rouge for the Benfica loanee to convert. The home side have given the ball away cheaply in defence on a number of occasions, though, and they're lucky that Preston's Ched Evans and Alvaro Fernandez haven't been able to do better with their long-range efforts. It's Watford 0, Preston 0 at the break.
Elsewhere in the Championship, Coventry lead at Huddersfield Mansfield by a goal to nil. Victor Gyökeres got that, so 17 for the season for him. It's Rotherham 1, QPR 0. Jordan Hugill with the goal there for Matt Taylor's side, who've won just one of their last 7 and will be nervously looking over their shoulders. Alex Neil has taken Stoke to his former side Sunderland. It's going well so far for him. They lead at the break by a goal to nil. Josh Lauren got the goal, and Janino Bakuna got the goal for Birmingham, and they lead bottom of the table Wigan by a goal to nil. Half-time whistle has gone at Molineux. Maz.
It is. Wolves 0, Tottenham 0. Porro with the best opportunity, hitting the crossbar with a free kick just outside the area, and what was 8 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half because of treatment for Costa, and then Max Kilman as well, who took a blow to the face. But as I said, the headline is that serious looking knee injury for Diego Costa, the Wolves forward, who had to be stretchered off midway through the first half. 0-0 at Molineux.
It's going to the Scottish Premiership. Hartsley St Johnstone by a goal to nil at the break. Livingston 1, Hibs 2, Ross County 0, Motherwell 0, and at Ibrox, Roddy.
Rangers 3, Kilmarnock 0. Michael Beale getting the response he wanted after last week's flat performance against Celtic in the League Cup final. 6 minutes into this game, Connor Goldson at Rangers' third attempt on goal in that few moments got the breakthrough to make it 1-0, and then Sakala with a deflected shot midway through the half, again after having been allowed latitude, and then finally inside injury time in the first half, a VAR handball decision that took some time. It was eventually ruled against Dorset, and Tavernier stepped up to do his usual job. Kilmarnock are looking pretty seriously abject. Rangers 3, Kilmarnock 0.
Dundee United Aberdeen is a 6 o'clock kickoff. Jim Goodwin in his first game in charge of Dundee United against his former club Aberdeen. Back to England, League One. The early game was goalless between Morecambe and Bolton. Forest Green Rovers had taken the lead at Accrington. Stanley Miles Pert Harris got it, 6 for the season for him, but then they were reduced to 10 men and Accrington Stanley equalised. Aaron Presley with his third of the season. He's on loan from Brentford. Not many goals around actually in League One. Goalless between Bristol Rovers and Barnsley, and Cambridge and Portsmouth, and Cheltenham and Fleetwood. At Derby lead Shrewsbury by 2 goals to nil. David McGoldrick getting the second of those, 19 for the season for him. Good first half at Portman Road for the home side. Ipswich 3, Burton 0. Connor Chaplin with his 18th of the season, and Freddie Ladapo with his 16th of the season, 2 of the Ipswich scorers there. Lincoln 1, Oxford 0. Goalless between Plymouth and Charlton. Port Vale, who've lost 4 of their last 5 games, have fared better after the first 45 minutes at home to MK Dons. They lead by a goal to nil. Goalless between the leaders Sheffield Wednesday and Peterborough. And Wickham, with Matt Bloomfield now in charge, lead Exeter by a goal to nil. Into League Two, let's start with the bottom side, who, Shoujo Osaka, have a very unusual feeling at the break.
They do. It's Rochdale 2, Stevenage 0. On this evidence, Mark, Rochdale are not giving up their league status without a fight. 2 lovely counter-attack goals finished off by Devante Rodney and Danny Lloyd. Stevenage manager Steve Evans responded with a double substitution just after the half hour. No injuries, just tactical. His team have work to do. Rochdale 2, Stevenage 0.
Elsewhere, AFC Wimbledon 1, Mansfield 1. Goalless between Bradford and Colchester as Mark Hughes marks his first year in charge of the home side. Going well for Carlisle, won their last 2 games. They're in third place in the league. Grimsby by 2 goals to nil at the break. Harrogate 0, Gillingham 0. The leaders Leyton Orient are a goal up on Swindon. It's Northampton 0 next to bottom of the table. Crawley 0. Salford 1, Newport 1. Goalless between Stockport and Doncaster. Crewe, who've drawn their last 3, lead at the break at Sutton by a goal to nil. Hartlepool, who are battling at the bottom to stay in the division, they're in 22nd at the moment under John Askey now, and they lead at Tranmere by a goal to nil at the break. And it's Walsall 0, Barrow 1. Billy Waters with the goal there for Pete Wildside, 9 for the season for him. In the National League, Aldershot 1, Torquay 1, Bromley 1, Notts County 0, Dagenham and Redbridge 1, York City 1, Dorking 0, FC Halifax 0, Gateshead 1, Chesterfield 1, Oldham 0, Borehamwood 0, Scunthorpe 0, Eastleigh 1, Solihull Moors 1, Maidstone 0, Wealdstone 2, Altrincham 0, Yeovil 0, Woking 1. So with Notts County losing, a real advantage for Wrexham, who play Maidenhead at 5:20. back to Scotland in the Championship. Ayr are down to 10 and they're level with Inverness at 1-1. Cove 0, Dundee 1, Partick 1, Wraith 0, and the leaders Queen's Park are 2-0 up on Morton. In League 1, Dunfermline are the leaders in the lead. Alloa by a goal to 0 at the break. It's Falkirk 0, who Falkirk are in second. Bottom of the table, Peterhead 0. Kelty Hearts 0, FC Edinburgh 1. Montrose 2, Clyde 0. Queen of the South 2, Airdrieonians 0. In League 2, Annan 1, Stenhouse Muir 1. East Fife 1, Forfar 1. Elgin 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 0. Stirling 2, Albion Rovers 2. And Stranraer 0, Dumbarton 1. One game in the Gallagher Premiership at 3 o'clock and it's half time. Leicester 31, Bath 13. Harlequins Exeter is a 5:15 kickoff. In the United Rugby Championship, Sharks beat Stormers Stormers beat Sharks 29-23. It's Bulls 18, Lions 23. One result in so far in the Premier 15's women's competition, and it's Durham 0, Gloucester Hartpury 60. They've won 12 out of 13 this season have Gloucester Hartpury, and they are clear of Exeter at the top of the table. Coming up to exactly 4 o'clock, this is 5 Live. Jill Mackenzie has the news.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
British military intelligence says Russian forces are pressing into the besieged Ukrainian city of Bakhmut. If they took it, it would be a rare success for Moscow. There's very little of the city left after extended heavy bombardment. It's emerged that the former Health Secretary Matt Hancock appeared to have concerns about the Eat Out to Help Out scheme during the pandemic. Leaked messages published by the Daily Telegraph show he described it as Eat Out to help the virus get about. Mr Hancock has criticised the leak and says only a partial account has been published. Police in Australia say they've made what's thought to be the country's biggest ever drugs bust. $700 million worth of cocaine was seized and replaced with fake packages that were tracked by authorities. And people in Leicestershire, Northamptonshire and Oxfordshire have reported a loud explosion, thought to be a sonic boom. Police say RAF fighter jets were scrambled to escort an aircraft which lost communications, and there's no need for concern.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
Back to the bridge shortly. First of all, John Hunt to round up the afternoon's racing.
It's been a huge day in the border country at Kelso Racecourse, Mark, and the two big races of the day, both won by local trainer Sandy Thompson and jockey Ryan Manier. Firstly, the Moor Battle Hurdle, won by Benson, who just got the better of the Irish raider Colonel Mustard, and a short while ago, the Premier Chase, won by Empire Steel, who is now destined for the Scottish National. He beat Le Milos, who will run at Aintree for Dan Skelton in a fantastic finish.
Thank you very much, John. Cheltenham gets underway in around 10 days' time. Sports Extra and 5 Live for all the coverage of the festival. Quickly to Katie Smith, watching the European indoors.
Yeah, 3 medals in the bag already for Great Britain. No goals yet, though. That could change today. Laura Muir going in the 1500-metre final. Potentially a 5th gold on the cards for her. And we've just had the men's 60-metre semi-finals. Reece Prescott and Jeremiah Zhu both into the final later on.
You can watch the European Indoor Athletics from 4:30 on BBC 2. Speaking of athletes,
Michael?
Oh, very much so at the moment, Deno. Doing quite a bit.
Yeah.
Makes a change.
Well,
they need some athletes in this second half of Chelsea, don't they? They're going to have to step forward, really be dynamic, a little bit more aggressive to try and go on and win this game. But Leeds United certainly got better at the end of that first half, Deno.
Well, we're back underway. As Felix out to Loftus-Cheek, chests it forward to Raheem Sterling. Neither side has made a change. Athletes are used to being performed by time as well, aren't they? In that case, Mark would never make it because he was late as the second half was already underway. But you haven't missed anything, that's the good thing. It's Kovacic comes forward for Chelsea. Inside, Felix now finds Sterling. Sterling, one touch too many. Closed out very quickly. Loftus-Cheek with a cutback. Sterling on the stretch, left-footed, always on the rise from close range, over the top and out for a goal kick, and it remains 0-0.
Right, Sterling involved with so much this afternoon. He really tries to put pressure on, drive inside. He's so strong, and then as Loftus-Cheek just brings it back, sticks his left foot out. Just couldn't really get any momentum, any sort of force on it. Just guides it over the bar to the left-hand side. But good start from Chelsea in this second half.
Leeds United supporters are in good voice away towards our left-hand side. It remains 0-0. Neither side has made a change at the start of the second half as McKennie comes forward for Leeds. In their white shirts, white shorts and navy socks, playing from right to left. So they are attacking the shed end of the ground here at Stamford Bridge. Loftus-Cheek forward, finds Sterling. Sterling gets away from Verba, and then running back into his penalty area was Firpo. So Arrizabalaga is in goal for Chelsea. It's a back three of Badiashile, Koulibaly and Wesley Fofana. Loftus-Cheek and Chilwell are the wing backs, right and left respectively. Kovacic and Fernandes in the midfield, with Sterling, Havertz and Felix for Chelsea. And Fernandes switches play. Chilwell controls it left-hand side, and then Ayling gets in a sliding challenge. Leeds United have Meslier in goal, a back four of Firpo, Verba, Koch and Ayling. McKennie and Adams in the centre of midfield, with Aronson and Harrison out wide, and Somerville supporting Jorginho Ruta. As from that throw, the turn and cross from Havertz, swept away by Adams, and then it comes back to Badiashile midway through the Chelsea half. Fernandes plays it back. We've been playing now for almost 3 minutes into this second period, and in many ways Chelsea seeing a lot of the ball is how the first half started, but they didn't create too many opportunities in that first half. Four, and towards the latter stages of the first 45 minutes, Leeds United certainly grew in confidence as Chelsea's momentum had petered out.
It has, hasn't it? Because, again, once you move the ball around, they've looked for diagonal passes where there's no pressure in behind sort of the full-back positions. But I feel like you want to see some one-on-ones in those situations. Give them the ball to feet, get after them and try and force it a little bit more, because this build-up, as you hear at half-time, people are saying this is very, very similar to what's been happening the last few weeks. Then they get sucker-punched.
Ball played inside by Wesley Fofana. Koulibaly, Plymouth, second in League One, and leading Charlton Athletic by a 1-0 at Home Park. Here is Fernandes to Kovacic. Kovacic runs forward, diagonal ball though reaches Raheem Sterling's side onto goal. They're playing in front of Leeds United. You can feel the tension starting to build, frustration from the Chelsea support as Leeds United break up that move, and a goal at the Riverside in the Championship. Chris Coles.
Goal number 21 of the season for Chuba Akpom. That should be it for Middlesbrough now. They lead Reading by 3-0. Lovely goal as well. Giles with the ball across. Akpom couldn't miss. Middlesbrough 3, Reading 0.
That'll be 7 wins at home on the bounce for Michael Carrick's side. They'll move to within 4 of Sheffield United, who lost at Blackburn Rovers earlier today by a 0 as Sterling rolls away from his man. Challenge comes in from Ayling, and the referee Michael Oliver has given a free kick. Before it's taken, we'll nip back to John Southall watching Arsenal.
Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1, similar pattern. Arsenal camped in the Bournemouth half. Ben White on for Tamiyasu. Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1.
So a free kick now here for Chelsea, and it's right of centre, about just over 20 yards out from goal.
It's just inside of where Jack Harrison's was, wasn't it? Another couple of yards, sort of the same sort of distance away from goal. A couple of people all around it. It's a better position slightly as the Leeds United one in the first half, but again, Sterling involved with everything. People getting tight, Ruber just coming over and taking his foot. You can't make that challenge.
Chilwell's in discussion with Havertz. They're bending down as they speak. Leeds United have got 4 in the wall.
Plus Somerville behind it, laying down. Don't know.
Fernandes is also there for Chelsea. Chilwell's now moved away. It'll be the left foot of Havertz or the right foot of Fernandes. Free kick for Chelsea. It is Fernandes, right-footed, and it curls its way over the crossbar and out for a goal kick. Goal kick 0-0. Back to other games in the Premier League. We'll start at the Amex. Jonathan Overend.
Brighton leading West Ham 1-0. Could be 2 though. Alexis McAllister came very close with a left foot shot. The skill Brighton in tight spaces is so evident today. They really are able to run this West Ham defence ragged at the moment, and they could be more than just the 1-0 ahead.
Another goal on the Riverside, Chris Coles.
Middlesbrough are rampant. They have a fourth. Aaron Ramsey has his second of the game. It's that left foot combination from Giles again. Great ball in. Ramsey in all sorts of space. Great finish into the bottom corner. Middlesbrough 4, Reading 0.
An unhappy return to the Riverside for the former Middlesbrough player Paul Ince. Salford 2, Newport 1, the latest score in League 2. Felix out to Chilwell, the return ball for the Portuguese international, and Chelsea win a corner kick on that far side, the left. Michael Brown.
Yeah, expect a better ball in. It's Chilwell who's going to go and take it, that outswinger that threatened the short. It's just going flat, isn't it? It's going quiet in the stadium. They need something to get after and support these players on the pitch to make good runs.
Chilwell to take the corner kick, far side the left. It is an outswinger. Wesley Fofana with the header, and Chelsea leads 7 minutes into the second half. You can feel the relief inside Stamford Bridge. 1-0.
Well, there was a warning in the first half regards to the set pieces of Chilwell. Fofana right through the centre of his 6-yard area. Rises very well, but the delivery was good. He just smashes it into the roof of the net. But the marking from Leeds United's got to be better. Goalkeeper Meslier just dives, tries to put his arm across to get any sort of contact. The celebrations, the relief, all behind the goal as the players go and celebrate. It's a big goal for Chelsea.
And another goal, this time it's at Brighton, Jonathan Overend.
And it is now Brighton 2, West Ham 0. Corner from the right, flicked on by McAllister, and Joel Veltman, who came on as a first half substitute for Tariq Lamptey, was there completely unmarked at the far post to put it past Areola. Brighton 2, West Ham 0.
It's his first goal in the Premier League. It's only his second on what is his 6th appearance. His earlier goal was against Milan in the Champions League. But Wesley Fofana for Chelsea, and all of a sudden there is just that sigh of relief from the supporters, and I am sure down below from Graham Potter. Loftus-Cheek gets away from Firpo. It'll be a Leeds United throw. However, elsewhere in the Premier League, Arsenal, remember, are still trailing. John Southall.
They are by 1-0 to Bournemouth, but a chance for Martin Odegaard. Shot from the right edge of the area. Think it took a slight deflection. Held by Neto. Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1.
Chelsea, by the way, haven't scored more than 1 goal since they actually played Bournemouth here on the 27th of December. So they need to try and now build on that Fofana header. But it's 1-0 to Chelsea. Brighton then lead West Ham by 2-0. Aston Villa still lead Crystal Palace by 1-0. Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1, and it remains Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Michael Brown.
It's amazing. You can hear the supporters, you can look, the relief. People have sort of thought, is this going to be it? But there's a long way to go in this game. How can Leeds United react? They've gone with tempo, they've gone to try and put the pressure on. I just feel that could be a big sort of weight lifted off Chelsea's shoulders. Will they play with confidence now? Will they go on and show what these players are all about? Because they've been questioned, their character, the professionalism, everything's been asked of these players because of the results they've been getting.
And now this is the reaction from the Chelsea support. At times they were really quiet in the first half. They're finding their voices as they will try and see their team over the line with such a slender lead. Only 10 minutes into the second half, but it's 1-0 to Chelsea. That means the game at Molineux is the only goalless affair in the Premier League. Mas Farouki.
But another really great chance for Spurs. Son hitting the crossbar. He was fed in by Kane. He tried to get it over Sarr from the left of the area. The second time Spurs have hit the crossbar, remember. Porro as well at the end of the first half. Still Wolves 0, Spurs 0.
Thanks, Mas. Leeds United with McKennie over the halfway line. Right-footed ball, looking to try and get Ayling. Volleys over the cross, blocked by Chilwell. It goes behind for a corner kick to Leeds United.
Good diagonal pass, Luke Ayling going all the way. I think what we do know about this Leeds United side, Deno, they're going to keep going. They're going to run forward. They're going to leave gaps, but can they capitalise on it? And then it's up to Chelsea to try and do something on the counter. But it's an opportunity now, set piece. We've just seen what Chelsea can do. It's the delivery of the runs, they're all around the goalkeeper, different setup for Leeds.
Koch and Chilwell are having a bit of a pushing contest inside that 6-yard area at the moment. So it's a corner kick to Leeds that's taken short on that far side, the right. Somerville to Harrison. Harrison with a cross, headed up in the air by Wesley Fofana. Comes off the leg of Rutter, cleared away by Havertz. Adams touches it forward. Adams goes for the chip finish, and that was close. Just drifted wide off his right foot of that right-hand post as we look out for a goal kick. Chelsea still lead 1-0.
It was almost a poor touch that was unexpected, that got him into the space. And as he's seen it open up, nothing else really but the shot on. Tries it with his right foot, probably 25 yards out. That curler just dipping around and trying to curl it back into that far post. It was good execution. It was always going to stay over.
Livingston are down to 10 men as they still trail at home 2-1 against Hibs in the Scottish Premiership. This is the Premier League. You're listening to 5 Live and the World Service. We are 12 minutes into the second half, and that goal from Wesley Fofana gives Chelsea a much needed lift for what Graham Potter admitted ahead of the game has been a tough period for all concerned. Finding it tough at the moment are Arsenal. John Southall.
They trail Bournemouth by 1-0, but another chance. Martinelli picked it up on the halfway line, cut in from the right-hand side. His shot, though, wide of the right post. Bournemouth have a corner. Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 1.
Here is Harrison. Short diagonal ball intercepted by Loftus-Cheek. Wesley Fofana finds Koulibaly, playing in the centre of that three-man defence. Wesley Fofana to his right, Badiashile to the left. But of course, Badiashile has been left out of the Champions League squad, so we know that there's going to be more changes for when Borussia Dortmund come here on Tuesday night, a game incidentally that you will be able to listen to on BBC Radio 5 Live as the last 16 of the second legs. Stamford Bridge Tuesday, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium Wednesday, both games on BBC Radio 5 Live as we approach the hour mark here. And it's Chelsea with Badiashile back to Koulibaly.
Tell you what, it's a bad day for Leeds United if it stays like this, with Bournemouth getting that result. And we talked all the last few days about how the relegation could be affected, and everyone's saying Bournemouth, Southampton look like they're going to go, but let's see.
Now listen to this, it's no longer 1-0 to Bournemouth. John Southall.
Because it's Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 2, a corner on the left-hand side, and there was Senesai with the header at the near post to put it into the bottom right-hand corner. What a scoreline this is! Arsenal 0, Bournemouth in 19th, 2.
That's what you call a real coupon buster. Millwall 1, Norwich 2, Huddersfield 0, Coventry City 2, are latest scores in the Championship. And Manchester City will be 2 points behind Arsenal as it stands, unless there is a dramatic turnaround at the Emirates. Felix forward for Chelsea, stopped there by Firpo, comes forward, continues to come forward. Firpo out towards Somerville. Somerville enters the penalty area. Somerville running in field. He finds now McKennie, edge of the area. Ayling's going to come on the overlap, but he plays it behind Ayling, right corner of the area. Back inside to McKennie. Leeds looking for an equaliser. Chelsea started this day closer to the relegation zone than they did the top four, but they are leading by 1-0. But Harrison is played in on this near side the left, but his cross is very, very deep. It reaches Ayling, off the chest, fires it. Rutter hits it right-footed, didn't really get hold of it, and gathered in by Kepa. What a chance.
Oh, it's a big chance. You say Rutter didn't connect, but tell you what, Koulibaly's right in the right position. It just hits him, drops dead. Goalkeeper right on top of it. But Harrison, that give and go, Loftus-Cheek, he's got to go with him. The deep cross, it wasn't the greatest from Luke Ayling. He just volleyed it into any sort of area. But Rutter just touches it, gets a half-decent contact, it just trickles Koulibaly's legs. Big chance for Leeds.
That's a warning sign, isn't it, that what one goal might not be enough.
Deno, they're going to keep coming. Chelsea will need another, for sure, just to calm it. I'm not saying that Leeds United are going to score because they haven't been, but it's a big chance.
We told you about that Millwall goal. Here are the details from Laura Kenyon.
Yeah, it's Millwall 1, Norwich 2, the away side ahead for the first time this game. Really unfortunate for the home side, though. It'll go down as a Tom Bradshaw own goal off his back heel. It's Millwall 1, Norwich 2.
In the Premier League then, Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 2. Aston Villa lead Crystal Palace 1-0. Brighton and Hove Albion 2, West Ham United 0. Wolves Tottenham is goalless. And here at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea are leading by 1-0 as Chilwell has run that ball out of play for a goal kick. Another goal at Ibrox, ready for side.
And this time it's gone the other way. Kilmarnock have pulled one back to the disdain of the Rangers crowd. Jerry Aldorat getting ahead and amidst a melee of players at a corner kick. He managed to force the ball over the line. There was stunned silence within Ibrox, and it remains almost entirely that way. But it's still Rangers 3, Kilmarnock 1.
Leeds United looking for an equaliser, attacking on that right-hand side. They've got a throw as well. Michael Oliver, the referee. So we're 62 minutes into this game here at Stamford Bridge. And Chelsea looking for a much-needed morale-boosting win ahead of that Champions League game against Borussia Dortmund. Firpo, central position. Can't squeeze it into the path of Ruta. Break on now. Felix, forward ball. Sterling up against Koch. Felix going ahead of him. Sterling running infield now. Sterling with the finish. Puts it wide, right-footed from the edge of the area as we go to Villa Park and John Bennett.
Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0. Very quiet second half, but an injury blow for Villa. Boubacar Kamara has gone off after a challenge by Doucouré. Doucouré was yellow carded. Callum Chambers, the centre-back, is on, but he's playing in midfield. Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Huddersfield 0, Coventry 3. Problems for struggling Huddersfield. Neil Warnock, what is it, his third game in charge. We will stay in Yorkshire, but we'll go from West Yorkshire to South Yorkshire, our featured game in League One. Nestor McGregor.
Sheffield Wednesday 1, Peterborough United 0. The league leaders breaking the deadlock. Good 1-2 between captain Barry Bannon and Jayden Brown down the left-hand side. Brown appeared to be trying to cross the ball. He might have hit it, and it caught the keeper out at the near post. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Peterborough United 0.
Good return for Alex Neil to the Stadium of Light for Stoke City. Sunderland 0, Stoke City 3. That'll be 3 defeats on the spin for Sunderland. This is here at Stamford Bridge, 63 minutes played, and it's with the goal scorer Wesley Fofana to Raheem Sterling, and Chelsea are going to go back. Let's get news now of the Bahrain Grand Prix qualifying. Jack Nicholls.
Max Verstappen's on pole position, the two-time champion will start at the front tomorrow. Sergio Perez second, Charles Leclerc third on the grid for Ferrari, George Russell and Lewis Hamilton 6th and 7th for the Mercedes after a difficult session. Verstappen on pole.
Further details in Sports Report at 5 o'clock with Mark Chapman, where we'll have the results and the reaction. Enzo Fernandez tried to step forward, dispossessed. Leeds get it up towards Ruta. Ruta, though, challenged by Kovacic in the centre circle. Havertz now has it, plays the ball back to Koulibaly, and out of a tight situation, Chelsea have the ball as they lead by a goal to nil. Urged on by this Chelsea crowd. Wigan 1, Birmingham 1. Wigan have equalised in the Championship, and I'm hearing news of a red card at Villa Park. John Bennett.
Crystal Palace down to 10 minutes. Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0. Czech Doucouré sent off, 2 bookings. He was booked for a foul which led to Kamara going off. Then he fouled the sub, Callum Chambers, and he's been red carded. It's Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0.
As it stands, Crystal Palace are only 5 points ahead of the relegation zone. John Southall watching Arsenal-Bournemouth.
Arsenal back in it. Arsenal 1, Bournemouth 2. Thomas Partey at the back post, unmarked 4 yards out, has brought them back into it. Arsenal 1, Bournemouth 2.
1-0 to Chelsea here at Stamford Bridge. Leeds with Adams on the halfway line. They're playing from right to left. 65 minutes played at Stamford Bridge. Here now is McKennie, taking over in the midfield, on loan from Juventus with an option maybe to buy in the summer. Ball threaded through. Aronson with a cutback. What a save that was by Kepa. Dive forward, flags up anyway, it wouldn't have counted. He wasn't to know. He's just touched it away from Somerville.
Yeah, he did really well down that right-hand side. Harrison getting some good positions. I felt like it was in an offside position. Goalkeeper wasn't aware of that. Good save as he pushed it away, but as soon as the ball was cleared, assistant referee straight away, just seeing the replay back, it looked like it was the correct decision. Deno, good save, but again, just a scare when they get back into that back 5. Chelsea, no pressure, just getting drawn back too easy.
Leeds United are still very much in this game. 66 minutes played. Chelsea's lead is a slender one. Brighton West Ham, Jonathan Overend.
Brilliant. Brighton 2, West Ham 0. Should be 3 as well, but for a last gasp challenge from Emerson almost on the goal line. Brighton 2, West Ham 0.
Livingston 1, Hibs 3 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Gallagher is going to be coming on for Chelsea, and it is in fact it's going to be a double change from both Chelsea and Leeds United. Zakaria is going to be coming on as well as Gallagher, and Nonto is going to be coming on as well. I really do like Wilfred Nonto. Whenever you see him, he is a real live wire for Leeds United. So both managers are going to be making changes. Michael Brown.
Yeah, you can understand why that is. As I said before, Chelsea are just sitting back in. It's going to touch flat yet again. The Leeds United are going to do anything to pull back. When they look at the scores, they look at what's happening around them, they've got to try and come back into it. And while it's only 1-0, they'll have that belief. They've got great desire, these players. Obviously, it's been drilled in for many, many seasons at Elland Road, and they will keep pushing. They'll keep driving teams back. But again, we'll see these substitutions. How do they affect it? Will we see a change in setup from either side?
So the players who are going to come off, Raheem Sterling is one of the players. Is it João Felix is the other one for Conor Gallagher. Let's get an update from Arsenal. John Southall.
Great game this. Arsenal 1, Bournemouth 2. Chance for Bournemouth, haven't given up this of a third goal. Solanke on the right of the 6-yard box, saved by the legs of Ramsdale. Arsenal 1, Bournemouth 2, 65 minutes played.
So Zakaria is on, Gallagher is on, Felix and Sterling are the two players who go off. And for Leeds United, as Swindon, I notice, have equalised at Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient 1, Swindon 1. Leeds have brought on Nonto and Mateo Joseph, who's a 19-year-old. He's a Spanish forward. They signed him from Espanyol last January. It's only his 6th appearance for the club, so he's come on to offer a little bit of support to that forward line. And Nonto, it was Ruta who's gone off, and Nonto is also on the field of play. Ruta and Aronson are the two players who've left.
Just look and see straight away, Gallagher just going into that, obviously advanced position. Zakaria just sitting in the middle of the park for Chelsea. See, for Leeds' point of view, see how that goes. But yeah, interesting that the call for a youngster, Dano.
Only one start in his last 7 for Aronson, and before today, and he hasn't seen that out as the ball is through to Nonto. But certainly with Nonto and Mateo Joseph up front, Leeds United now will have plenty of energy for the final quarter of this game, where it remains Chelsea 1, Leeds United 0. And Leeds, certainly ball played up to Mateo. That's cut out by Badiashile on that far side. Gallagher plays it forward. Might not necessarily be a comfortable last 20-odd minutes this for Graham Potter. Harrison on this near side to left. He's going to try and go on the outside of Loftus-Cheek, but Loftus-Cheek wins the challenge. Another goal at Millwall. Laura Kenyon.
Millwall 1, Norwich 3. A sucker punch for the home side who've been pushing for the equaliser. It's Gabriel Sara with a beauty in the box on the swivel. Half volley, rifled it, hit the crossbar and in. It's Millwall 1, Norwich 3.
Accrington lead Forest Green by 2-1, so Duncan Ferguson, his team are down to 10 men. Well, is that his 7th game in charge? It might still be, where the wait continues for his first win since he took over at the bottom of the table club in League One. Leeds United, in front of their vocal travelling support, have a free kick. It's 6 yards in from the left touchline. Looking for an equaliser here at Stamford Bridge on 5 Live in the World Service and BBC Sounds. Somerville and Harrison stand over the free kick, almost midway through the Chelsea half. Somerville leaves it, Harrison to take it, left-footed, and the header goes wide. It was a header from McKennie that Kepa had it covered. Goal kick.
Yeah, it was engineered, wasn't it? Somerville just obviously running over the top of the ball. Jack Harrison, good delivery. He did really well, really determined. Jack Harrison trying to drive down the left-hand side, but the header just comes in near post. It was obviously comfortable for the goalkeeper, Kepa, just to see it wide.
Sunderland have got a goal back at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 1, Stoke City 3. Cambridge 0, Portsmouth 1 is the latest score in League One. Wimbledon 1, Mansfield 2. Tranmere equalised at Prenton Park. It's Tranmere 1, Hartlepool 1 as we go to Brighton and Jonathan Oberon.
It's a third for Brighton, who've been absolutely magnificent today, tearing West Ham apart. Mitoma has got it, but it's another goal full of clever, precise, swift passing. They really know how to play under Roberto De Zerbi, even though he's watching from the stands. Brighton 3, West Ham 0.
And next weekend we'll be commentating on Brighton as they make their way to West Yorkshire to take on a Leeds United side that, as it stands, are in the relegation zone, because Bournemouth is still leading at the leaders, Arsenal, by 2-1. But no longer. There's been another goal, John.
They've equalised. Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 2. We weren't sure if it crossed the line. The referee's watch must have beeped. Ben White has it, and Arsenal are right back in it. Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 2.
I think that's Ben White's first goal for Arsenal. In fact, his last goal, I'm pretty sure, was for Leeds United during his loan spell when they were in the Championship, as Chelsea clear through Chilwell. 18 minutes remain. Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 2. Brighton 3, West Ham 0. Aston Villa still lead the 10 men of Crystal Palace by 1-0, and Wolves 0, Tottenham 0 are the latest scores. Chelsea 1-0 up here. Verba to Harrison, but Leeds are threatening. Ball played forward ahead of him. Firpo seen off by Wesley Fofana. Strong defending, goal kick.
Seen off's another word. He come right across, actually bodied him right to the floor. You get a little bit of this stick for that. Get in the gym will be the shout. It's going to be interesting, isn't it? The end of this game, we'll see that Fofana challenge, but what can Leeds United do? How can they affect it? How can they get in? It looks like they've got 4 attackers. They're leaving it open, and they're going to put pressure on this Chelsea side, but they've got the quality. We're just seeing the owner now have a chat in the stand with his hat and his scarf on, and he'll be relieved if it can end like this.
Well, it will be a much needed 3 points for Chelsea and their under fire manager Graham Potter. He won his first 3 games in the Premier League, but has only won 2 of the last 15 since. 21 points from his 18 games in the Premier League. 17 minutes remain. 1-0 Chelsea. Koulibaly outside the centre circle. Chelsea are playing from left to right. Badiashile out to Chilwell. Back to Badiashile. Forward ball. Zakaria goes back to Arrizabalaga. Clears it away. The keeper headed forward by McKennie. That, though, only will reach Loftus-Cheek, who stumbles and loses the ball. McKennie now picks it up for Leeds. Drives forward. Harrison is to his left. Harrison's cross, though, is too heavy. First time cross, straight out of play, out for a goal kick. Let's get the updates, the team news now from our 5:30 commentary. Southampton, Leicester City, Conor McNamara.
And Southampton make 4 changes from their last league game, the defeat to Leeds. Che Adams is back, that's very good news for them. Theo Walcott makes his first start since November. Walker, Peters and Alcaraz are the other 2 who come in. Leicester make 3 changes from their last league game, the defeat to Arsenal. Pereira, Mendy and Maddison come in for Christensen, Ndidi and Pratt.
Mark Schwarzer with Conor. Commentary from 5:30 after Sports Report. Chelsea are making a change. Chukwuemeka is coming on. Carney Chukwuemeka for Mateo Kovacic in the centre of midfield. We have just over 15 minutes remaining. Chelsea still lead by 1-0. A convincing performance, would you say, or not?
Not convincing. I thought they've done some good things. They've been nice to the eye at times. Some patterns of play where they've moved it inside, some forward runs, some diagonal pass, some good balls in with tempo from wider positions, but really they should have been a little bit more clinical. But as I say, if we'd have set off Deno like this, they'd have certainly took a result, whatever the way they got it.
Exeter have equalised at Wickham. Wickham 1, Exeter City 1 in League One. The ball is picked up by Gallagher, lays it off then, and Loftus-Cheek on the halfway line. It goes out of play for a throw. Arsenal Bournemouth, the latest from John Southall.
Arsenal chucking absolutely everything at this. Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 2. Bukayo Saka, tight angle on the right of the 6-yard box, has just hit the outside of the post. Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 2, 73 minutes played.
Havertz looked like he was being held there by Verba. Referee Michael Oliver didn't see anything untoward. Ayling now attacks on that far side, the right. Under 15 minutes remaining as Adams sprays it across towards Junior Firpo. Controls it, plays it forward. Harrison to Nonto. Ball goes infield. Adams and Firpo, they play it well. Find space in the centre circle for Koch. His forward ball to McKennie, lifts it into the penalty area, headed down from Loftus-Cheek, hooked away by Fernandes for Chelsea on the edge of his own penalty area. Stoke have got a fourth at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 1, Stoke City 4. As Gallagher runs forward now for Chelsea, edge of the area, plays it forward. Chukwuemeka couldn't take it in his stride. Firpo is able to clear the ball away. Ipswich have also scored 4 today. Ipswich 4, Burton 0. Meanwhile, Nonto has got it. Nonto enters the penalty area, plays it in towards Harrison. He couldn't take it in his stride, and Loftus-Cheek gets the ball away. Game all of a sudden has become very stretched.
Yeah, very end-to-end. It was Chukwuemeka who got to a good position, tried to go inside in the penalty area, just lost it. The fans went crazy. Nonto on the other end, he went forward very, very quickly. Good counter from Leeds United. Gets into the box, makes the wrong decision. You can hear the supporters. They're frustrated that Chelsea are not going forward quick enough. But in that change in the midfield, they've gone to a back 4 and then like a 4 in midfield, almost like a box. Chukwuemeka and Gallagher just in front of the other two, Fernandes and Zakaria.
Yeah, there is certainly still a lot of nervousness around Stamford Bridge as they lead only by a goal to nil. Villa Park now, John Bennett.
Yes, a nervous Villa Park as well. Villa leading 1-0 against Crystal Palace. John McGuinness had the first shot on target of the game, saved by Guaita, but the Villa fans urging their team on to get a second goal. Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Another goal at the Riverside in the Championship, Chris Coles.
No nerves here. Middlesbrough 5, Reading 0. A second penalty of the afternoon. Marcus Forss won it. Marcus Forss converted it straight down the middle. Middlesbrough going within 4 points of Sheffield United emphatically. Middlesbrough 5, Reading 0.
These are the latest scores in the Scottish Premiership. Hearts 3, St Johnstone 0. Livingston, who are down to 10 men, 1. Hibs 3. Rangers lead Kilmarnock by 3 goals to 1. Ross County, who are down to 10 men, 0. Motherwell 1. Dundee United Aberdeen gets underway at 6 o'clock. Ball into the penalty area, picked up by Meslier. We've got 12 minutes remaining. I'll give you the League 2, League 1 and the Championship scores very, very soon, as Leeds United are going to be making another attacking change. Sam Greenwood is going to be coming on as Javi Gracia just gives him his final instructions here at Stamford Bridge. It's going to be a tense finish. It's a tense finish as well at Arsenal. Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 2. Bournemouth, who at one stage were leading by 2 goals to 0, as Nonto feeds it forward. Harrison is onto it. Harrison left-hand side, back to Nonto, just couldn't get the touch, loses the ball on the edge of the area. Fernandes will bring it away. Chelsea fans urge Chelsea to come forward. Chukwuemeka to Gallagher, in space, right-hand side. Chilwell is forward. Diagonal ball will find Chilwell, crosses on the stretch, over the head of Havertz, picked up by Meslier.
That's really good play, excellent in possession there. Gallagher, big diagonal pass. Chilwell has run so far, just tries to guide it into the middle for Havertz, but it's just too far. It's end-to-end now, Deno. It's opening up. Leeds United comes soon as they get an opportunity.
Somerville cuts inside on that right-hand side. Somerville's shot takes a deflection, spins away off the back. I think it was Koulibaly. Picked up by McKennie on this near side. Leeds United still offering a threat in these closing stages as they trail 1-0. Adams to Nonto. Looking to link up with Somerville, able to turn, left corner of the area, threads it through to Nonto. Wesley Fofana marshals the ball out of play. Greenwood's going to be coming on for Harrison. Let's go back to Arsenal, John Southall.
Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 2, another chance for Arsenal. Martinelli held off Jack Stevens, surged into the area and smashed it over the bar. 12 minutes to play, the Arsenal fans are going through the ringer. Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 2.
Greenwood to replace Harrison whilst it happens. Here are the latest scores in League 2. Wimbledon 1, Mansfield Town 3. They've come from behind. Bradford City 0, Colchester United 0. They're expecting a crowd of over 20,000 at Valley Parade today. Carlisle United going well under Paul Simpson. Lead Grimsby Town 2-0. Harrogate 0, Gillingham 0. Leyton Orient 1, Swindon 1. The leaders, Leyton Orient, have been pegged back there. Northampton, who are down to 10 men, drawing with Crawley Town 0-0. Rochdale, bottom of the table, leading Stevenage by 2 goals to 0. That would be a first win in 10 for Rochdale. It's Salford 2, Newport County 1, Stockport 0, Doncaster 0, Sutton United 0, Crewe 1, although Crewe are down to 10 men. And at Prenton Park, Tranmere 1, Hartlepool 1, Walsall 0, Barrow 1. They're the latest scores in League 2. Leeds United with 9 minutes remaining. Tyler Adams sends a forward ball. Nonto, who's now gone out to the left since Harrison left the field of play. He pushes Wesley Fofana, and the free kick goes against the Italian international. Here are the latest scores in League One. Well, the result in the early kick-off was Morecambe 0, Bolton 0. Latest scores: Accrington 2, Forest Green 1. Forest Green down to 10 men, still no win for Duncan Ferguson. Bristol Rovers 0, Barnsley 0, Cambridge 0, Portsmouth 1, Cheltenham 1, Fleetwood 0, Derby County 2, Shrewsbury 2, Derby were 2-0 up. Ipswich Town 4, Burton 0, Lincoln 1, Oxford United managerless 0, Plymouth 1, Charlton 0, Port Vale lead MK Dons by a goal to 0. Sheffield Wednesday the leaders, looking to make it 21 games unbeaten. Lead Peterborough at Hillsborough 1-0. It's Wycombe 1, Exeter 1. I'll give you the championship latest in a moment here on 5 Live with 8 minutes remaining. Greenwood picks it up for Leeds, central position, looks towards Matteo Joseph and picked it up by Kepa Arrizabalaga. Michael Brown.
Well, it's getting so nervous. You can imagine these supporters are just desperate for the result, and Leeds United keep coming. They're not bothered what they leave behind. They're putting the pressure on right up the pitch and going for everything. Made the changes now, but it's just that bit of quality for Leeds. When they're getting into these areas, Deno, they're just not creating better chances.
Sorry, I thought you'd finished. We have 8 minutes remaining. It's 1-0 to Chelsea. How long have you got left, John Southall?
10 minutes left to play here. Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 2. It is frantic. Gabriel's just had a header saved. We've had a VAR penalty check for Arsenal, not given. Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 2.
Thank you, John. We'll be back with you, I'm sure, on a regular basis for the time that you have left. Leeds United, though, here are looking for an equaliser. They've been awarded a corner kick. They're playing from right to left. It's corner kick that far side to right. Greenwood to take it.
In front of the supporters. I'm just imagining the celebrations here if they can get this equaliser. Everybody up. Chelsea just ringing that 6-yard area, zonal.
Corner kick far side to right. Greenwood to take it. Right-footed, didn't beat the first man, headed out by Loftus-Cheek, comes out to Nonto, plays it forward, back out to the right. Ayling now swings over the cross and it drops out of play for a goal kick. We've got 7 minutes remaining. Latest scores then in the Championship. Well, the 2 early kickoffs, the results were Blackburn 1, Sheffield United 0, Cardiff City 2, Bristol Rovers 0. Latest scores: Huddersfield 0, Coventry 3, Luton 1, Swansea 0, Middlesbrough 5, Reading 0, Millwall 1, Norwich 3, Rotherham 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Sunderland 1, Stoke City 5. Former Newcastle player Dwight Gale with 2 goals there. Watford and Preston is goalless. Wigan 1, Birmingham 1, and Lee Blakeman has the latest from Bloomfield Road.
Blackpool 0, Burnley 0. Surprise scoreline this. Burnley creating all the chances. Zaroury, Cullen, Twine, Goodmanson all going close, but it's still 0-0 with 8 minutes to go.
So changes being made by Graham Potter. We've got Chalobah coming on for his 50th appearance for Chelsea. So Chalobah replaces Loftus-Cheek in that right wing-back role, and the other change is Madueke, who will come on for Enzo Fernandez. And we have 6 minutes remaining of normal time. Chelsea still leading by a goal to 0. Michael.
Yeah, it's really another load of substitutions from the manager, trying anything possible just to delay it. Chalobah coming down that right-hand side. You feel like Loftus-Cheek was just drifting out of it, not going with the runners, and he's made that change. But Chelsea come now, finally they get the ball back, finally they try and go forward, try and get somewhere, but again offside flag comes up. Very, very disappointing that they can't get any sort of momentum. Leeds United just shown great desire. The little fight now down to that right hand side. Meslier involved with Chilwell, lots of pushing.
Meslier gets involved. Initially it was Chilwell and Adams, and then Meslier intervened. We've told you about that 5th goal for Stoke. Mansfield have got a 3rd at Wimbledon. Middlesbrough 5, Reading 0 we know about, of course. And in the Scottish Premiership, Ross County 0, Motherwell 1 is a latest score. It has settled down. Any sign of a goal at Molineux? Mas Farouki.
Wolves should have scored. A Jimenez header, 2 Neves strikes from distance. Matthias Cunha then stabbing the ball wide of the right-hand post. We should have had goals. We haven't. It's still Wolves 0, Tottenham 0. Remember, we are 7 minutes behind you here.
Madueke, incidentally, like Badiashile, is another who's been left out of that Champions League squad. Must be a real balancing act for Graham Potter. Commentary, of course, on Tuesday night, Chelsea against Borussia Dortmund. Before that, we've got a commentary after Sports Report, Southampton-Leicester, with Conor McNamara and Mark Schwarzer. Tomorrow, Nottingham Forest, Everton at 2. Liverpool, Manchester United at 4:30. Madueke on this right-hand side. Chelsea still lead by a goal to nil. Northampton, despite being down to 10 men, are leading Crawley by a goal to nil now in League Two. Crawley are struggling down at the foot of the table of the Football League. We've got just over 4 minutes remaining. Arsenal are going to have to leave it late. John Southall.
They have 6 minutes. Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 2. Partey's just scuffed a volley wide, and Granit Xhaka, with a bit of experience, has come on to try and win it. Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 2.
Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0. Brighton and Hove Albion lead West Ham United by 3 goals to nil. No goals at Molineux. Still 1-0 here to Chelsea. Firpo keeps the ball in play to Adams. Adams now running forward. Ball goes out towards McKennie, just dropping again deep in front of that back four. As then the ball is played up towards Gnonto. Gnonto races after it, keeps it in play down by the corner flag. Gnonto now rolls it back to Junior Firpo. And now the little spin there from Greenwood, holding off Gallagher. 3.5 minutes of normal time remain here at Stamford Bridge. Gnonto to Somerville. Chukwuemeka gets a foot into the challenge. Greenwood to Firpo. They've got round the back, left-hand side. Firpo chips over the cross. They're waiting at the back. And the header comes in from Ayling, it was. He and Matteo Joseph both going for the same ball. It drops out of play for a goal kick.
It was well worked, wasn't it, by Leeds United, getting to good positions. Full-backs really high, and the deep cross. Ayling gets right on the opposite side, right into the 6-yard area. We've seen him do it on a few occasions. He just tries to get the header onto the back post, but just seen it wide. But just imagine, Deno, these Chelsea supporters, if Leeds score, are going to say, why were you so negative? Why did you sit in? Why did you not go and get that second goal? These are the questions, and I think they've probably got a fair point.
Well, certainly every manager is judged by results, and that, at the end of the day, is all that Graham Potter would have concerned himself about today. But it certainly hasn't been a convincing performance, but it was just about getting the 3 points here against Leeds United after what has been a dreadful run. 6 without a win since they played Crystal Palace in mid-January. Only their win in 11 since the turn of the year. And it's still not over just as yet. Millwall, incidentally, have got a goal back. Millwall 2, Norwich City 3 is a latest score in the Championship. Laura Kenyon.
Millwall 2, Norwich 3. The home side pull one back. Zian Fleming headed finish into the floor, bounced into the back of the net. Could be a nervy end for the travelling fans, this one. Millwall 2, Norwich 3.
Millwall looking to try and keep that unbeaten run going at home. It was 11 games undefeated before the visit of Norwich. Badia Shield plays it forward. Chilwell latches onto it, left-hand side. Strong running by Chilwell, looks up, delivers a low cross. And it was a tumbling cock that managed to get the ball away. Gallagher has overrun it, hasn't kept the ball in play. Oh yes, he has. He's done well, but then he passes it out, gets the return ball. Gallagher with a shot, charged down. Leeds United stretching at the back, and the header back to Meslier. It's no longer goalless at Molineux. Masparuki.
There's been a goal for Wolves. Adama Traore, quickest to the rebound after a Raul Jimenez shot was saved into his path. They do deserve it, Wolves, and they lead now with 8 minutes to play. Wolves 1, Tottenham 0.
That would be a 4th defeat away from home for Tottenham Hotspur. Christian Stellini taking charge for the final time before the return of Antonio Conte, who play a huge game in the Champions League in midweek when Milan visit the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Wednesday. We've got under 60 seconds remaining. Chelsea are still leading by a goal to nil, but it's Leeds who are coming forward, out towards Gnonto. Chelsea sitting in. Gnonto on the attack, left-hand side. Chalobah gets a foot into the challenge. Behind it goes for a corner kick to Leeds.
Oh, big chance again. They're pushing. Chelsea are just defending for their lives here. And Leeds United, what a difference this could make if they could draw a point out of this. Give them massive amounts of confidence into the next few games with teams all around them picking up results.
Greenwood waits to take the corner kick near side the left. We'll find out how much added on time there will be. Greenwood flick on by Ayling, far post, it runs away, nobody could make the touch. Nadia Joseph actually keeps the ball in play on that far side. That was a nervy moment, wasn't it, for Chelsea? Leeds get a throw on that far side. 4 minutes of added on time, which we're now into.
There's a good delivery straight away. Luke Ayling just flicked it, glanced in as it flashed across the front of the goal, but nobody there for Leeds United just to knock it in. And just see the referee in probably a good position for Leeds. He pulls it back, saying there's a foul, and Firpo again is just a little bit of fighting, a little bit of scrapping. Havertz involved, and I think I would have took the advantage from the wider position, rather central, for the free kick to be set up.
Free kick that Greenwood is going to take for Leeds United. We're into stoppage time here on 5 Live in the World Service. Leeds have committed everybody forward bar the goalkeeper. In it goes now. Havertz with a header away, collected by Ayling left-hand side. Ayling turns, sends over a cross. It's hanging in the air. They haven't dealt with the ball properly, Chelsea. Matthew Joseph with a low shot, and that was saved by Arrizabalaga away towards his left-hand side. Another goal. It's at Brighton. Jonathan Overend.
0 Brighton, Danny Welbeck this time. There aren't many West Ham fans still left in the stadium, but many of those who are still here are applauding that goal. They want David Moyes out, and on this evidence, he could be hanging on. Brighton 4, West Ham 0.
It'll be 11 away games in the Premier League without a win since Aston Villa at the end of August. And Brighton are going so well. 1 defeat in 10 now under Roberto De Zerbi. Motherwell have got a second goal at Ross County. Ross County 0, Motherwell 2, Plymouth 2, Charlton 0 is a latest score in League One. Stephen Schumacher's side have won 15 of their 17 games now at home park. No other goals to tell you about. Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 2. Elsewhere in the Premier League, Villa 1, the 10 men of Crystal Palace 0. We've just heard that Brighton leading 4-0. Chelsea 1-0 up here. Wolves lead Spurs by a goal to 0. We'll go to Arsenal. John Southall.
Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 2. We're into added time. They've just had a corner over on the right-hand side. 6 minutes of added time. The number has just gone up. So Arsenal still have time to win this one. 2-2.
And the lead over Manchester City, who earlier beat Newcastle 2-0, is 3 points as it stands. We're halfway through the 4 minutes of added on time. McKennie with a quick throw. Down the left-hand side. Chelsea, though, have the ball. Gallagher looking to try and find Havertz. Havertz looked onside. Sliding in was Koch. Loose ball picked up by Gallagher, right-hand side. Gallagher plays it, turns, surrounded by 2 white shirts, battling for it. Havertz challenged from Firpo. Nonto plays it, still leads deep inside their own half. Greenwood, referee's played an advantage there as Greenwood runs forward. Ayling is going on ahead of him on that overlap. Ben Chilwell, though, sprints, and Ben Chilwell will get there first. And Ben Chilwell tries to usher the ball out for a goal kick. Doesn't do so, then has to concede the corner.
That's brilliant from Luke Ayling. The desire, and Chilwell, he just couldn't see it out, but Ayling didn't give it up. We've seen Meslier go right into the box now, last seconds of this game. Goalkeeper's up. Is he allowed to stay up? We've got an injury down to our right-hand side. Referee is going to have to stop it. If I'm the medical staff, I'm saying, is it Nonto? He's just got to roll off and let him get on with it.
It was funny. Meslier was coming forward. Verba told him to get back. He then said, no, the bench have told me to go forward. He's proceeded his way into the penalty area. 30 seconds remain then. Corner kick, Leeds United, Greenwood to take it, Verba's downward header, Meslier with a header, saved by Arrizabalaga. That would have been a dramatic finish.
Wow, that was incredible. It fell to him. I'm thinking it's a goal, Deno. Literally goalkeeper right into his hands. The crowd are going crazy here at Chelsea. What a chance for Leeds United to get that equaliser right at the end of this game. Chelsea supporters are going really crazy. They're just not pleased with his performance, and there it is, Deno, to get the whisk, to get that result.
It is a much needed win to end a tough period for Graham Potter. It was all about the results. The performance wasn't convincing. Chelsea 1, Leeds United 0. Wesley Fofana with a header 8 minutes into the second half. Michael Brown.
Yeah, it was a game very tense. Chelsea played the part at times. They did okay. Didn't probably do enough as expected a home performance with the team they had out. So even though they created in the first half, hit the bar, a couple of chances, set piece was the key that went on and win it with that great ball in from Chilwell, the header from Fofana. Full credit to Leeds United after that goal. The great desire, great determination at the end. They almost got that equaliser, but they showed great fight today at a difficult place to come in Chelsea.
Full time at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Leeds United 0.